Those Lacking Spines, Chapter 10, Princes of the Universe.
Hello, children. Grandma will tell you a story in your very best Goody Gumdrop voice. This is no ordinary story. This ain't your average everyday big bad wolf fairy tale. No, no. It's a story about days long past the latest lost in the corridors of time. Here's a story that'll bring meaningful to your pitiful previous lives and secret to your very core. Have you all used the restroom? If not, go do it right now, because I'm not going to stop and wait for you to go potty halfway through it. I'll tell this story right over from your little bottomless break, Junior. Don't look at me like that. I don't have all the time world. Mercy Rose on Twing Me and Chica. Bet I like Jessica Fisher a lot more better than I like you snot-nosed little brat. Here now. You see it comfortably? Ain't yourself a sneak? It's something healthy, not fruit, and not this trash-fried, sugar-crusted cheese cracker nonsense. Good, like a little spaghetti.
We would have Fat Grandma on this show, but I took care of her. Permanently!
It's been 10 newer stories. Many stories about many different events in many different places, starring many different people. They told these stories many different ways. Sometimes gathered around a campfire in the dark woods and the far-off mountains and forests. Sometimes she wrote them down and put them out in books for people to read. Sometimes they were hired overpaid snubs to tell stories on paper or on stage. Just like Jessica Fisher did a telephone program. Sometimes they would spend months and years even animating these stories into computer programs, including some sort of play mechanic and producing them on one of these newfangled contraptions called video games. Now, Grandma Steve, we didn't have these PlayStations and Xboxes that you kids all like shammer on about. No. There was only one video game system that you could own without being a helpless nerd, and it was Nintendo! All the games were based on movies or crazy hallucinations by the father of all gaming, who happened to be a Japanese man with a magical land in his brain to print out money. We didn't have strategy guides or FAQ websites either. All we had was our brains and a piece of paper to scribble down things like East Most Peninsula holds a secret, and Dodongo dislikes smoke, and those that 10 hours from now, when we were ripping out our hair and throwing out little blocky controllers at the wall of frustration, New Zealand's difference by unlock some kind of amazing epiphany to drag us out of our hellhole. But, where was I? Stories! Yes, now, people have heard these stories and they like them very much. These stories inspired people to write their own stories. They wanted to share these new stories with the world. One day, Alcor invented something that would allow them to do this, the internet. Soon websites all across the internet were flooded with stories about other stories. In between porn, and it was good. There were so many stories that it was getting difficult to keep track of. And so the stories divided themselves up about what they were about into little universes called fandoms. One of the most popular fandoms was called Kingdom Hearts. It was all about video games, starring a doofy kid and Jasus who ran around with cartoon characters getting smacked in the face with things like doors and darkness and light. All the Kingdom Hearts stories came together and became Kingdom Hearts, which took place alongside the original story, all in its game universe. Two universes coexisted peacefully, and it was good. There was a world of Kingdom Hearts. Another world rested many young woman we called the Grandmaster Fangirl. This particular world was her space of place. They built a factory on this world to make new ideas for her stories. Many characters came to her world to help her run the factory. Each day the factory would produce new ideas for her stories, and she would write them. And it was good. One day, as she's quite common with 13-year-old girls like her, Grandmaster Fangirl starts her to the flights of fancy. Romance. Romance. The factory began producing ideas for her new stories. But one day, something happened that nobody could have expected. The idea came out of that factory was not a good idea. It was shriveled, sickly, and weak, and worm-like. Basically looked like it had seen better days. They did not want to know what to do with this unfortunate little idea. Grandmaster Fangirl did not want to throw it out, as it was her own creation. In a way, it was so cute. So they decided from this day forward she would follow a credo and accept any idea that came out of that factory, no matter how pale and sickly and gross it was. Everything deserved a chance at life. It was unfortunate for the Grandmaster Fangirl that this sickly idea was no ordinary idea. It was a being that had a brain, a heart, a spine, and most importantly, intellect. You know. This was the very first Gutless. It began to spread its parasite all through the factory. Soon one day all these ideas that the factory produced were transformed into Gutless. Soon the entire world, Grandmaster Fangirl herself, became corrupted by the Gutless scourge. Soon they began to plot a way to transform the rest of Fandom Hearts. No, the rest of the whole entire universe, all universes. He would become a part of Grandmaster Fangirl's empire, and she would rule them all with an iron fist.
Don't make me do that again, Vic! In the world that never was, in the meeting room of the Nobody's Castle, there was a highly advanced computer that the organization used to keep contact with all its members. Nobody underlings and Cummycraft. It would detect distress signals from millions upon millions of miles away. No matter the world or dimension the signal would be coming from. It was a state-of-the-art piece of technology that proved invaluable to the smooth operations of the organization for countless years. A red button was flashing on the control panel. The monitor zoomed in on a scarce corner of Fandom Hearts. A bright world that was blinking like a star in the brightness of space. Number 8! Number 8! Do you read me? Lysa's voice crackled over the radio. Number 8! This is number 5! We need reinforcements! Do you read me? Send reinforcements! Axel? Silence. Axel? More silence. Axel! The signal shut off. Fortunately, no matter how fast the computer, cannot efficiently send messages if the receiver cannot hear it. The darkest tower in Fandom Hearts was usually an uneventful and desolate place. It stood a monument to the wicked, abandoned as a wasteland and silent as a grave. Tonight, however, it was anything but. The normally abandoned streets outside the darkest tower were crawling with bodies. Not the bodies of the living, though, no. Just mob of shouting figures pushed and shoved into an ocean of beings outside the tower stores were quite obviously not human. Or no body for that matter. Their faces were pale, their bodies skinny and wispy like the slightest poke could break their brittle bones, their hair long and unkempt flowing behind their white capes. I know these are supposed to be nerds, but I suddenly realized what they are. They're Titans! Their fragile, bony hands were outstretched above them, and from their throats came long, guttural moans like the sound of a dying man who had just been kicked into squish. The normal silence that covered the building like a blanket was shattered and stopped to pieces by the birth of an intense pout somewhere in the tower. Then, all sound was cut off by a maniacal laughter and the sound of some loud doomsday device turning on. "You son of a bitch!" Sheldon yelled. Then there was a supersonic explosion, a great flash of light. Then, silence. Pretentious House Secrets chapter openings aside, the author and Surrey are all on the edges of your seats worrying about what could be possibly happening in the paragraphs above. What does it all mean, you may ask yourself? What battle have I come into the middle of? What sort of horrible surprises could the final world hold? Do these pants make my butt big? To answer these questions, aside from the pants thing, luckily I'm a Pegasus. I don't wear pants. Let's turn back the clock and the pages to the beginning of this debacle. To the moment our three heroes first disembarked for the GS Existentialists on the surface of the final world. Got their bearings and set out to follow the unmistakable signals that pointed them to one semi and one nobody in the corner of the world. We have disembarked for the GS Existentialists. I've gotten our bearings, Lysis announced. Let's set out to follow these two signals. They're unmistakable. One is a semi and the other is still nobody, both off in the distant corner of the world. Thanks, and Saladin stared at him. The silent hero frowned and folded his guidebook under his arm. What? You're repeating the prose, Saladin informed him. I am. Oh, for darkness' sake! Fexit groaned, shoved both his companions into walking. Let's just get this over with already. I fear what may happen if the three of us spend any more time in this hellhole fandom universe than is necessary. What does the guidebook say about this world, Nexus? Saladin asked him, determined not to let Fexit drag them into elaborate tar pits of disgust and stewing elitism for the remainder of the chapter. Nothing yet. We got 2 signals coming up on radar, but other than that, it hasn't made a peep. Well, we do have observations, Saladin said. He glanced up at the sky, pushed back as midnight, and strangely without even a single star to poke light through the darkness. The wind is cold as fall as I can detect it, so this world's eternally dark. There doesn't seem to be any kind of sun. And the earth is echoing the footsteps of millions of people not too far from here. Lexus added, some kind of city, I guess.
A city of toad in total darkness, Fixer repeated. My, doesn't that sound familiar?
You know, the world that never was seen is playing in my head. Quite, Saladin agreed. The shipboard computer did show this world to be massive in comparison to the others we visited. I've got to stay on our guards at all times and be prepared for anything. We are far too late in the game to lose one of us to the gunners now. Even so, I suggest we move quickly. I've got the guidebook trying to figure out where the residents of this world are, if not humans. There is no other way for us to find out, but to get closer. An hour later, our 3 heroes were arriving at the outskirts of an absolutely massive city, perched in a valley against some great silver mountains that rose high to the black sky. If there was such a thing as Earth in their universe, the trio might describe the metropolis before them as some sort of pseudo-Las Vegas. Buildings gleamed and sparkled, glowing with neon lights in every color of the rainbow. Tremendous flashing signs that advertised normal commodities, restaurants, bars, dance halls, a bowling alley, and what appeared to be several casinos. The city appeared to stretch endlessly off into the distance along the mountains, residential areas and well-lit entertainment districts reaching all the way past the foothills, right up to where Saladin, Fexen, and Lexus were walking.
What familiar scenery?
Fexen observed. Let's go for the checklist, Saladin suggested, one eyebrow raised high over the other as he examined their surroundings critically. Dark skies? Check, Lexus nodded. Foreboding, overly complicated architecture and some soil ruins?
Indeed,
Fexen confirmed. Epic sounding techno-pop and or metal music in the background?
Yep.
Cryptic clues or references to the end of things or excessively pretentious area names?
We have stepped into the haven of wasted epiphanies,
Fexen announced, reading from a convenient nearby sign.
Up ahead is the villains of twisted thoughts and the subdivision of broken endings. Triple check.
Yes, I thought so, Saladin sighed. This is a final world if I ever saw one. It does indeed look quite a bit like the world that never was. Lexus added, tilting a bit of his head as he gazed off into the distance. Except they have a bowling alley.
Honestly,
Fexen groaned.
We come to every most guarded and reclusive of all the worlds of Phantom Hearts, and even they have enough forethought to put a bowling alley. Zenless is the worst end urban planner ever!
Well, somebody take a picture, Saladin urged him. Even the visitors like Zenless can't argue with hard evidence. There is absolutely no reason why we can't build a little nightclub on the corner of the skyscraper in the alleyway. Hey, I just finished playing Kingdom Hearts 2 and suddenly there's a nightclub on the corner of the skyscraper and alleyway. Fexen snapped a quick picture with his camera of photo of Not, sighing and slipping it back to wherever it is the organization keeps things. Pockets, perhaps.
In any case, there is still no signal letting us know the name or attributes of this world. We better figure out what the cat says before we're going right off into a disaster situation, or find ourselves stuck in the middle of one.
That building there appears to be a tourist information center. Let's gesture to a small, challenge-shaped building off to one side of the road, leading to a very fast city below. And I think I see an observation tower just ahead. Saladin pointed a short distance away from the satellite that Lexus had mentioned. I'll try to get a better look at the city. Lexus, why don't you go and check out the tourist center? Certainly. Lexus nodded and was off. Everyone meet back here, and a signal if something bad happens. Yes?
Indeed.
Fexen agreed and turned to go to Lexus. Fexen, there's a little shack across from the observation tower. Do you see it there in that alley? Saladin grasped his colleague by the hood and pointed to the shed in the direction.
Fexen blinked. You mean those run-down, desolate, corrupt-ing ruins of this obvious disaster and peril that perhaps in life were a shed?
Yes, that one. Go check it now, Saladin suggested.
I am most certainly not going in there!
Fexen protested. Saladin looked annoyed. Why not?
Because it's a death trap!
It is not a death trap, Vexen. Let's just try to comfort him. What makes you think it's a death trap?
I can quite clearly see the marks of an explosion on the outside of that shed.
Vexen pointing out.
There are probably 10,000 rusty nails sticking out at every corner, absolutely crawling with their tetanus.
We're nobodies, Vexen. Lysis assured him. We can't get tetanus.
We can be impaled on a knife with sharpened wood splinters, or torn limb from limb by horrifying gutless monsters.
I happen to know for a fact you could easily dispatch absolutely any sort of monster that would ever attack you. There isn't very much within us to be impaled, Saladin said confidently. I absolutely refuse on grounds of favoritism. Lysis interrupted Vexen.
Lysis gets to go search a big, well-lit tourist center. You get an authorization tower out in the open. I have to go into a darkened alley and bust my way into crumbling ruins. 99% likely to be booby-trapped, or haunted, or otherwise absolutely deadly.
Who's playing favorites? Lysis asked, raising an eyebrow.
It's her! Vexen snarled. She's laughing at me!
We can back out here, Vexen. Saladin said with a sigh, busy for Lysis to follow him towards their respective destinations.
She is going to pay for this!
Vexen screamed to the night sky. Vincent hasn't really been the same since after that cake incident, has she? Lysis remarked a bit to Saladin. Thoughtless can save his empty soul. Saladin mumbled under his breath. The tourist center seemed a little run down and neglected. Lysis noted as he stepped into the lobby. The furniture and carpets were dusty and looked like they hadn't been touched in ages. The floor creaked beneath him and the lights were dimmed. Some of the bowls bare in their fixtures, and some broken or burnt out. Cardboard racks holding colorful, if not faded pamphlets sat on an empty counter. Lysis thumbed through all the pamphlets, all advertising bowling alleys and movie theaters, video arcades, and other entertainment centers. He frowned jealously and placed them back in their proper racks. Nothing of use. A tearful sign stating tourist info was nailed up above the doorframe leading into an adjacent room. The wall, flickering like a fire, was burning somewhere within it. Quietly listening for any signs of life, Lysis approached the doorframe and tried to peer around the corner. Somebody coughed. A muffled sound. It was odd, Lysis thought, that whoever owned his establishment would not be out in the lobby at the counter where he or she belonged. Rounding the corner, Lysis caught sight of a long-haired blonde figure kneeling down and stroking a roaring fireplace at the far end of the room. It looked like to be some kind of small dining room, or even a cafe, as the corner of the north room seemed to suggest. It was run down and filthy as the rest of the building, save for a gleaming, perfectly polished mirror vanity oddly placed in the corner. Excuse me, Lysis said quietly, addressing the figure before the fireplace. It was impossible to tell if it was male or female from the back. Wavy feet and cornstalk blonde hair fluttering behind his skinny body, like a majestic cape of some sort. The figure coughed again into his hand, tossing another log into the fire. Excuse me, sir? Ma'am? Lysis replied, stepping into the room. I regret barging in here when you are apparently closed, but I even need some information. The figure slowly stood up, but did not turn around, simply cocking its head at Lysis's words but not replying. Lysis stood there awkwardly for a few moments, eventually deciding that the setup of the situation could only lead to some kind of horrible revelation, or even a trap. The decrepit state of this building, eerie coughing, shouted figure to silence. Lysis had seen plenty of horror movies, and most of them started out exactly like this. All right, Lysis finally said. I'm sorry to bother you. Your face, the figure said in a male voice, croaking the horns like it had suffered from disuse and perhaps overuse, such as high-pitched shrieking. Pardon? Lysis asked. It's so hard, the figure whispered, reaching out a thin, nearly skeletal hand for an iron hammer to be placed on the hearth. Hard and rough. Let me soften it. Lysis took an instinctive step back, and just in time, as a horrible screech of fury the figure lunged at him, taking a swing with his hammer that, while not fatal to nobody, was seriously hurt like a bitch. He dodged another strike and ended up backing into the wall behind him, reaching into nothing and tightening his hand around the handle like his tomahawk for self-defense. As he raised his weapon, the assailant lifted himself from off the floor, glanced up at Lysis with wide, terrible, sparkling, unnaturally large eyes. And through his mail, his features were decisively feminine, Wispy, pale, shriveled, and nearly dead-looking, his hair was quite easily the luscious and healthiest feature. There on his bare midriff was tattooed the symbol of the cutlass, modified to include a rather suggestively placed capital letter Y. "Be my snooky pants," the cutlass whispered, raising the hammer, looking himself at Alexis. "The wind here is odd," Saladin mumbled to himself as he approached the observation tower. "It almost sounds like Lexus is screaming in horror." It also struck Saladin how otherwise silent the wind here was. Despite the fact that it was in the outskirts of the city, there were no sounds, no fervent vivacious vehicles, perhaps Volkswagens, no vice-villains such as Voldemort or their various victims, no victorious vibrations in their voices, not even a vendetta. All he could hear was the occasional clap of thunder from the valley below. Storm clouds having gathered around the exceptionally dark tower. Saladin might have called it the darkest one he had ever seen. Even in the vast, abandoned, dark city on the world that never was, you could hear things happening basically at any time of day. There was always some kind of activity for the Nexus where the nobodies kept in between to travel from world to world. And every once in a while, the underlings down below would set up an impromptu game of Pizza Boy, who got the Pizza Boy and devoured his heart. It's a little known fact that DMX, the organization's number 9, was once involved in this game as the ball. Here, it was almost as if the buildings and streets down below were merely for show, like an elaborate cardboard cutouts, only there to distract travelers from the heart of things, which was obviously that extremely dark tower. This cannot ignore the obvious architecture of places like these. The observation tower was built of steel and neon, not unlike the rest of the buildings in the city. It stood on the edge of the long cliff that led down to the valley and city proper. Saladin stood at his base for a few minutes, keeping an eye out for any suspicious activity or enemies on the ground. When everything remained as eerie and silent as it had been so far, Saladin teleported himself to the top of the tower to look around. The wind was colder up here, carrying no sound besides the dramatic techno music. Firmly bolted to the tower's top was a set of binoculars, the sort you drop in a coin into for about 2 minutes of a blurry sightseeing through fingerprinted lenses, with small children screaming in the air that they want to see too. Luckily, for Saladin, there were no fingerprints or small children. There was a sufficiently convenient stack of coins on the ground next to the base. He slipped one into the slot and gazed through the eyepieces at the city below. The dark tower off in the distance was certainly catching his eye. Saladin safely bet that the semi and nobody they were looking for was somewhere in that tower. He glanced down at the streets, where the spindly, effeminate-looking residents of the city trudged around with blank looks on their faces, fondling their scads of beautifully conditioned and styled hair, and muttering things to themselves. "Cutlass," Saladin mumbled under his breath. Lexus had the guidebook. Once they regrouped, they could point to the guidebook's computer down to the valley and hopefully pull up some information on the world's residents. He had only had a little bit of experience in the sort of things that Gutless inevitably ended up being based on, so Saladin sat for a moment to try and pander to himself what the deal with the species could be. "I see that kitty!" Somebody shrieked from down below, but not that far down below. Somewhere, rather right behind Saladin, was perched on the tower. Before Saladin could turn around, somebody, or something rather, was ramming into the base of the observation tower, knocking out the bottom layer, sending the whole thing crashing to the ground. Saladin screamed. "Mother of darkness!" Fexen screamed. Far across the reaches of gummy space, in the world that never was, more specifically in the main meeting room, Axel sat at the workstation of the Nobody supercomputer, carefully keeping an eye out for signals. His orders had said as much. That morning there had been a message left on the answering machine of silence that since Saladin, Vex, and Alexis were heading into what had to be the final world of Phantom Hearts, either Laxel or Laxerine had to stay at the computer at all times in case of a distress signal. If, by some miracle, the Gustless forces suddenly became 1,000 times more intimidating than he managed to overwhelm the trio, it would be up to Axel or Laxerine to send in reinforcements. Only one person was necessary to mind the computer. So the two decided that the one not watching the computer would be in charge of babysitting the Yukis of the other 7 organization 13 members. This, obviously, made minding the computer look like a fun job in the world. It came down to a rapid-fire rock-paper-scissors tournament. Once Axel won. That's not to say Laxerine had been handling the Yukis all by herself that day. In fact, her visits in the meeting were becoming more and more frequent as the hours went on. "Axel," Lifestream snapped at the first visit. They're bored. They are insisting I let them style my hair. So let them style your hair. I so guess it's only were that simple.
I will not have their grimy little hands touching me!
Lifestream barked.
Do you know that Sexy Uki has a real problem newspicking, and I'm running out of ways to keep them busy?
What do you want me to do, Lexrine? Axel groaned, turning around on the stool to stare at her pointedly. I can't exactly come help you. I need to stay at this station. We're under orders, remember? And I don't know about you, but I don't want to be at the receiving end of Fence's temper if we screw this up and he ends up coming back in one piece, despite said screw up.
Remember last time?
Lifestream crossed her arms and leaned against the door frame, staring into memory.
I didn't think it was possible for steel to explode like that.
You see what I mean? Axel sighed. Look, I don't know. Why don't you put on a movie for them in the theater of Nil? That sounded like a good idea. So Lexrine disappeared for 10 minutes, so...
Axel!
Sink complained to see teleporting to the door frame again for a second visit.
What? I'm still watching the computer. They can't decide on the movie.
Lexrine groaned. It's 7-1. Moulin Rouge against Evil Dead 2. Then what's the problem? Sounds like a majority rule to me.
I'm the one! Lexrine snapped, and I am not watching Moulin Rouge. Evil Dead 2 is my favorite movie!
If you show them that movie, they'll be up all night, coming into your bedroom, asking to sleep in your bed with you. Axel inform you.
What makes you seem so sure?
I let them watch The Little Mermaid yesterday. Axel rolled his eyes.
The Little Mermaid?
Ursula frightened them.
Oh, for the love of fine!
Lifestream fans again. The third time, Lifestream did not actually come to visit. Instead, Axel started away from his workstation, like a confident strange sound. It was almost like something being brutally tortured within an inch of his life. Fearing the worst, and Lifestream really hating this movie and taking it out on one helpless U-case, Axel rushed upstairs to the theater and knelt to check on things. And found the U-case absolutely enraptured with Ewan McGregor's singing voice. The heroes are alive! The UK sang in obnoxious unison, with the sound of music, with songs that he has sung. Longstar took a solo, rising from his seat and really belting it out. For 1,000 years! Samuelson sing bar straight. I actually sat in front of the front row, with 10 seconds from ending her own life with a quick electrical shock to the brain. What in the hell is going on up here? Axel sounded essentially put off. Well, was it suddenly very paranoid that something might be happening at the computer now that he left? Stop that noise! They won't watch the movie. I stared more furiously, with a twist developing her left eye, unless they are allowed to sing. You can't fool the children of the revolution! Well, keep it down, Axel groaned. I'm trying to stay on guard down there. You guys made me think somebody was being murdered up here! He then returned to his guard station, grudgingly. There was about half an hour of perfect silence after that. Axel worked on a game of solitaire on his computer, still glancing at the radar and turning up the radio to top volume every few minutes to make sure nothing was out of the ordinary. Then, the silence was murdered brutally in the night by another explosion of noise from the direction of the theater Neil. 5 minutes of waiting brought no end to the sort of screaming, laughing, and singing, and the foot-stomping noises that could only come down from the choreography against moves. Axel appeared in the doorway of the theater again, infuriated and yelling over the soundtrack. What is going on up here? I thought I told you to. Axel, keep it down! Larson screamed violently. I can't hear! Tears were flowing freely from the UK's cheeks. She could, in careful examination, could spot a moist line down Larson's face as well. They were all leaning forward in their seats, essentially concerned about whether or not Christian could convince Satine to fall in love with him through a melody of epic proportions. Axel's jaw dropped. What the hell?
Oh, he sang your song to her, and he has the voice of an angel.
Axel Gus, clasping her hands together, giggling, stomping her feet to the floor.
She has to fall in love with him. She just has to.
Oh, I've seen this 1,000 times, Saxon sighed loudly, leaning back in his chair, morsel swimming, and it never gets old. Luxurine. I still tapped on her shoulder. What are you doing? Why are you crying over a stupid movie?
It's not stupid!
Luxurine said vehemently, clutching her teeth in fury at him.
It is a magnificent embodiment of freedom, beauty, truth, and love!
1, 2, 3.
Guilty pleasures. Guilty pleasures.
I'm mostly getting at the fact that we're nobodies. Asla reminded her sharply, it's not possible for us to get emotional! During that distance, later parts of Kingdom Hearts 2, and I think Final Chapter has some things to say about that.
Oh no.
Lecture retorted, it's impossible to watch Moulin Rouge and feel no emotion. Don't you know that? Hard to know! Hell on skates! Axel threw his hands in the air in frustration, spinning on his heels. You know what? As long as you're keeping out of trouble, it doesn't matter anyway. I'm going back to the computer. You just keep it the hell down!
Get out!
Larson shrilled, just ready for the leave. They're about to kiss. Axel stomped off down the hall with a mighty eye roll. Just a stimulant scream sounded from the theater. How wonderful life is! Now you're in the world. Lexus had been through a lot in however many years he had been a nobody. It's fair to assert that this had never, ever happened to him before, though. He was currently tied up against the rickety wall of the tourist center, bound by yards and yards of luxurious blonde hair, as a spindly, scrawny, gutless monster clung to him, moaned, and licked his earlobes, and continuously gyrated against his leg for lack of a better word. Try as he might, he could not escape from the ridiculously sturdy grip of 6 feet of nourished and well-conditioned hair. He had not bothered screaming for help, not because the first few tries yielded no results, but because he thought on it, and decided now that affects his solemn disposition, he had no other honorable choice but to find a speeding train and go and stand in front of it. Snooky pants, why won't you love me? Gutless hissed in his ear, eyes glazed over his swirling some kind of sick madness. What is this? Silent Hill for Phantom Hearts? If I say it's because I'm immune to your parasite, will you get off me? Lexus figured it wasn't hard to ask. Immune? The Gutless slithered, licking his lips down a sticky pouch. Oh, nonsense. No one is immune to our beautiful parasite. Lord Mansex has seen to that. Lord Mansex? Lexus repeated, then did a quick anagram in his head. Nobodies were quite good at anagrams after all. Then it hit him. Oh, hell, he groaned. Then it's Zema. He really prefers it if you call him by his pet name, Snooky Pants. The Gutless giggled and finally released Lexus, taking a few steps preparing to lift a gargantuan nobody with his hair. If you're so immune, I'll just take you to see him. A few steps back was exactly what Lexus needed in order to teleport. He feared taking the Gutless with him before. It would have gotten him nowhere except between dimensions, with an extremely friendly monster making sweet love to his right leg. Once the creature backed off slightly, he was able to slip away in between and reappear a short distance away. Before the Gutless knew what was happening, Lexus pulled his tomahawk in a mortal draw, smashing his feeble body into the floor like dropping a physics textbook on a popsicle stick model. The Gutless let out a high-pitched scream of agony, then probably died in an explosion of pink sparkles. Lexus breathed heavily for a moment, gathering his wits and watching the sparkles settling down to a fine clear on the floor. Then he promptly removed his coat, wanted to fall, and flung into a fireplace with a distasteful manner of, ew. Oh, hell, ew. I am unclean. Once the tainted coat had burned away, and Lexus had summoned himself a new one, still suffering slightly, he kneeled down with the guidebook to examine the pink dust left behind the Gutless. The book's sensor beat a few times and brought up a page of information. Bishonen Gutless. Lexus read off the monitor, extremely violent and vicious, scrawny, spindly, wispy, effeminate, strangled victims with long hair, extremely horny. Oh, unclean! He stuttered again and pressed a button on the page. High-ranking Gutless. Come just below UK's on the hierarchy. Seek mates with us to spread their parasite. Soiled, blah! Unless Lexus turned on the third and final page. Very powerful, also extremely rare, only to be found in Phantom Hearts. Nimbly the world called. Lexus drifted off. His jaw dropped, then he slammed the guidebook shut, threw it back into the Duramaxil pocket. He hefted his tomahawk over his shoulder and raced outside. Lexus arrived back in the city and outskirts just in time to find Saladin, to his relief, unharmed. Fortunately, he was also clinging desperately to the ruins of the observation tower, now leaning up against a tall neon spire, as a veritable sea of Bashonan gutless surrounded him, clawing and moaning at the tower's ruins to pull it down so they get their hands on him. Lexus! Saladin yelled, a voice becoming just a bit desperate. I wonder if you wouldn't mind getting me out of here! Lexus! Teleport down! Lexus shouted back. We can take them together! Don't you think I've already tried that? Saladin snapped, struggling as far as the tower ruins as he could, collapsed further down. His sunlight scrawny hands were grabbing at him. The second I step out of the pole, they jump all over me! There's too many of them! And they're smaller than regular gutless. Smarter? Lexus echoed back. Yes! They move faster. They spread out trying to surround you. Saladin replied frantically. They even duck when you attack them. It's just wrong to have a Phantom Hearts world with that kind of gutless. Lexus said, bustling to himself. Isolate, it makes things harder and more action-packed, Saladin added. Not necessarily a good thing at the moment. Lexus was inclined to agree. How are we supposed to deal with them then? Over your shoulder! What? Over your shoulder! Slicey spun around just in time to deal a death blow to a whole mess of gutless who come up behind him, while he and Saladin were busy making subtle gaming jokes that maybe two people would understand. Then, wasting no further time, he raced in and began to lay the smack down on the gang surrounding Saladin in the tower's ruins. Coming up the hill right now! Saladin shouted to warn him, quite relieved he was up here, not down there all of a sudden. Zoom in ahead! Once Lexus had cleared something of a hole, Saladin teleported down and whipped all 6 of his lances, wasting no time in going to town in the horde. Back and pack, the two laid down the gutless army in a crashed heap, giving the serene and formerly silent city a charming layer of sparkling pink glitter all over the ground and neon buildings. Once things were quiet, Saladin exhaled sharply and put away one of his lances. What were those? Where in the hell are we? Those were shouting gutless. Lexus said, and we're... He paused. Wait, where's Vexen? We sent him into that shed. His face lit up in furious alarm. Damn, knocked that death trap and mauled him. Death trap? Lexus repeated suspiciously. Never mind. Hurry! We have to another cake us in our hands. Saladin barked, and the two of them raced off to the alleyway shed where poor Vexen had been sent. Shockingly, Vexen was not in mortal peril when his two comrades finally managed to reach him. As a matter of fact, he seemed quite comfortable. The ancient and decrepit shed that Saladin had ordered him to, while ancient and decrepit and death-trapping on the outside, was a different story on the inside. It was actually a well-equipped rumpus room that had just undergone a remodeling job on its interior, and was waiting for the permits to clear before the contractors went to fix it on the inside. When Saladin and Lexus found him, Vexen was quite literally lounging in a cushy, high-backed leather chair with his feet up, newspaper in hands, and a piping cup of Earl Grey tea on the table, and the radio turned to the classical musical station. Hello, gentlemen, Vexen said cheerily, having a long sip of delicious tea and right in the middle of the crossword puzzle. Can you think of a 7-letter word for reaction to meeting an old friend? Furious! Saladin guessed. No, it starts with an S. Vexen informed him and glanced up at his comrades. Lexus looked hurried. Saladin was obviously 10 seconds from hitting the roof. Something wrong? The two of us are out there, fighting off bloodthirsty hordes of powerful gutless, and nearly getting ourselves killed, and you're in here doing the puzzle maze and listening to Buck? It's Tarkovsky, Saladin. For shame, Vexen scolded him. You're the one who told me to take this place out, were you not? Saladin glared furiously up at the sky, as though directing his fury at some kind of puppet master, who might or might not even exist out there beyond the fourth wall. Hey, don't look at me, I didn't write this! In any case, Lexus stepped in before the impending argument could even get started. Don't you think we both have more important things to do besides sitting around, drinking tea and arguing? This world is far more dangerous than we could ever hope to imagine. No kidding. Saladin groaned, pressing his brace out of his face. Have you seen the gutless from this world? Lexus handed the guidebook over to him. Fexen, who was expressing immediately, became very concerned.
Besoden, for the love of nothing. I was afraid of this.
You know about these? Lexus asked.
Not precisely.
Fexen scratched behind his ear with a sigh.
But my research pointed to evidence of a powerful variety. You see, whereas most gutless were created from the stolen you-knows of their victims, Rishoden's gutless are unique in a way that they do not have you-knows. This makes them more similar to the UKs to the Semes, or any other types of gutless we have seen.
You mean? Saladin asked quietly.
Yes,
Fexen said so implicitly.
It seems that these things are the next level evolution of the UKs. So, if we don't return our comrades, to them soon...
The dire situation was easily understood as silence followed the room. I managed to gather some information. Lexus said out for a moment. The semi-single we appeared before belongs to Semis. Oh dear, Saladin sighed. Then the other nobody must be Roxas.
But he's unharmed!
Fexen pounded a fist in his palm. So far. We don't have any time to lose. Saladin turned back towards the door of the little shed. Outside was lay acres upon acres of been shown in gutless, moaning and orgasming and grasping out in search of victims. He now probably heading straight for them. We must get to the bottom of this world before it's too late. Oh, I managed to gather some information on the world too, if anyone's interested. Lexus said calmly. The name is quite upsetting.
Oh, really?
Fexen, who had not been privy to the behaviors of Gutless outside, sounded skeptical.
What's it called?
It's terrible. Lexus muttered. Utterly terrible. You're not gonna like it. What is it? Well, the world is all based around this city. Lexus said, and this city is called... Los Masosexos! There was a long silence.
You're right, I don't like that one bit!
Fexen sighed. And so it began. Our three heroes' madcap race through the streets of Los Masosexos, ducking behind billies, dodging swarms of gutless, hunting down like it, wounded yaks in every alley, around every corner. It was not as though the mission had gotten any more urgent. No, really. It was more a sudden urge of urgency, spurred on by the realization that this world was a perfect example of just what happened to places that fell to the power of gutless. Upon closer inspection, Los Masosexos appeared to be a resting place for ruined potential, a symbol of things that had been, and the end of those things, and how those things had been destroyed. They now destroyed the decrepit buildings and businesses, all of these had been prosperous at one time or another. From the looks of it, a time very long ago. Even many of the people they ran looked as though they hadn't been gutless for very long. Some seemed to have faded into flimsy cells in the very primes of their lives, carrying the extra skin that came from the forcible destruction of muscles and masculinity file, removal and eugenification. It's a frightening thought that, indeed, if imagined their fellow organization members, much less themselves in this situation, with the sunken skin, the sparkling eyes, and the spindly fingers. Sure enough, the signals are coming for that ridiculously dark tower, Lexus said, glancing at the guidebook for a quick second, as the three of them rounded into some kind of skitty square, ducking off into an alley to hide and catch their breaths. Not just a tower, Saladin corrected, pointing to the vast clump of abandoned steel buildings currently up inside the tower. Looks like an industrial complex, a factory of some kind.
Do you think that's some Gore Gutless factory?
Fexen asked, mostly to himself. That'd be my guess. Lexus replied, and he seemed to have kicked protection into overdrive. The three nobodies glanced in time to see a veritable army of Bishonen marching towards them, with glazed over looks in their eyes, a big, stupid smile on their zombified faces. Shooky pants, they moaned. Kitty! Styxus and Saladin looked disgusted at their pet names. Fexen looked intrigued.
Do they, know you two from somewhere?
He asked with a slightly savage grin.
Oh, shut up!
Saladin groaned. Once again, I hate to interrupt this argument. Lexus insisted in a hurried tone. There's an army of gutless marching towards us. We're all three exhausted from fighting all this way. If we don't get into that tower and find a way to block them from following us, we're going to be gyrated to death.
We're going to be what now?
Lexus turned perfectly red. It's not... Call for backup, Salza insisted. Once they head off, we can teleport inside the tower. The three organization members backed their way into the alley as far as they could go, further and further away approaching Mob. Saladin and Vexen began kicking over trash cans and boxes to create something of a temporary barrier, holding out the lean cutlass with swings in their weapons. Alexis quickly hit the signal button, back at a guidebook to send a distraction signal to the world that never was. Number 8. Number 8, do you read me? He screamed to radio. Number 8, this is number 5. We need reinforcements. Do you hear? Reinforcements! Axel? There was no answer.
Hurry up, Alexis!
Vexen snarled, passing away a group of their attackers was shield. Axel? More silence. If I can't hold them off anymore, Silence yelled, we gotta get out of here!
If we open the portal, they come right after us!
Vexen yelled.
Axel!
They ran. They ran until they couldn't run anymore. They ran until sweat poured down their faces and their lungs ached with each breath. Or rather, since nobody's do not have hearts, it's probably safe to assume they don't have lungs either. Continuing along that tangent, you can probably conclude that nobodies do not have stomachs or digestive tracts, reproductive or endocrine systems. This makes over 90% of the Organization 13 censored fanfiction in the world completely impossible, and probably sent a few delusional fans off to take cold stomach showers. But anyway, they ran. They ran blocks and blocks through the crowded streets of Los Mostos, Texas, dodging wave after wave of mindless Michonne and gutless zombies, making their way toward Dark Tower, which, oddly enough, had the grand doors wide open, beckoning entrance into its dark, hallowed halls. The trio reached the ironic sanctuary, well, a good 100 yards or so ahead of their pursuers. The entryway was dark, and looked like just as run down as the rest of the city. Shadows obscuring great fallen steel beams, and the remains of faces and furniture what looked like a reception desk.
They're still coming!
Vexen gestured out of the open doors, at the legions of gutless, wandering out the street towards them.
Hell, they're more persistent than Tycoon game designers!
Saladin said between great teeth.
Quickly, let's barricade ourselves in here so they won't interfere!
Lester suggested, and the three of them got to work. Saladin hefted great metal doors with hurricane gusts of winds, pushing them close. Vexen and Lysis had sealed them with thick layers of ice and stone, taking care to block all the windows and security grates and brick and steel fortress walls, filing cabinets, and industrial ovens, and anything else zombies seemed terribly good at breaking into and popping out from. When they were through, the entryway of the darkest tower appeared very much like some kind of ice cave dungeon, the obligatory sort to be found in every RPG made. Ever! I got no disagreement about that. That'll hold him off. Lysis sighed, wiping sweat from his brow. Despite the fact that we just figured out they don't have any sweat glands in. Okay, never mind. At least long enough for us to track down those signals and get the hell out of here! Saladin sighed. Frosty just braids out his face, shaking his head. The end of this mission cannot come soon enough. Oh, I'm afraid not. All three of our heroes whipped their heads up at the sound of a deep and unmistakably evil voice. A voice that had, in another life, belonged to the man and the rest of the organization looked up to as their superior. They turned around just in time to see Zemus and Sime, sprawled out seriously on the shallow barrel of what appeared to be a tremendous ray gun of some sort. A ray gun that was pointed right at them. Mensex was by all accounts an extremely attractive man. He was chiseled, yet soft, effeminate, yet manly, clad in a feather boa and a long, ravishing bright pink coat that thickly resembled the coat he wore in his other life as the head of Organization 13. He held up a hand, and examining perfectly manicured, blood-red fingernails, stretching out all but one of his feet, and showing off his $100 apple-green Gucci stilettos. Blush and eyeshadow enhanced his flawless features, and he lovingly puffed up a handful of luxuriously hair the color of silver. Welcome to my abode. I just love what you've done with the lobby. The semi-giggle kicked his feet silently. It's nice to finally meet the three jerks responsible for the near upset of the orgy's wonderful plan.
You! Vexen snarled. You're the Sime we've been looking for!
That I am, sugar. Giggled the Sime, striking a supermodel pose. The name's
Man! Sex!
And I am the head of the semis at Orgy 9. There was a long moment of silence. Monsex, sounded repeated. Yes. Monsex nodded, tittering to himself.
Sounds like steam escaping.
Strikes and rest for Joe's comrades. Wow, I can't believe it. Monsex. Sounded. Alexis rolled his eyes. That always stopped being funny 10 minutes after the game came out. Nobody asked you, Steph. Monsex huffed, crossed his arms, shifting to put a leg on either side of the ray gun. My name is of little consequence in any case. I regret to inform you, 3 hunks, that you've come all this way for. Okay, you know what? I'm over here trying to exposit some plotline, and you're all being exceptionally rude.
Please, Saint Physicians!
Fexit grinned between teeth, turning away from Monsex and covering his eyes, like even a glimpse could be fail. Saladin and Alexis were also shielding their views, and Saladin was about to rant. Change positions. Alexis gurred. Then he glanced at the caliber of the barrel he was straddling. Oh! He turned sides out. Sorry. Thank you. Alexis sighed. Not to be phased, Monsex turned his veritable slew of series of dialogue and fake exposition. I've been waiting ages for the 3 of you to finally get here. You've done quite well to make it this far. It's just too bad you had to dispose all of my charming minions on the way. Staff meetings will ever be so boring now. So, you must be the master behind this idiotic plot. Saladin sneered, reaching behind him to instinctively call down a lance or two. Wrong, I'm afraid. The Sammy giggled, shook his finger at them. I can only take credit for the hostile takeover of Phantom Hearts and a beautiful attack on your world. But I am but a humble gutless in the service of our wonderful leader, Grandmaster Fangirl. Grandmaster Fangirl. Alexis muttered, arming himself with his tomahawk. Who in the world's... alas, but I've said too much. Monsex moaned and threw his arm over his eyes melodramatically. Then he pulled a thick and well-thumbed volume out of his pocket for his coat. My toting for the final boss for Fun and Profit book says I'm not supposed to reveal our entire plan until after I'm all sure you're going to be destroyed in seconds. But I'm not supposed to destroy it, you see. Oh, you aren't, are you? Frankston shot back, shield in hand. Are we to become victims of your half-baked gutless takeover then? Oh, he'll convert and join our side all right. Monsex pressed his arm over his eyes seductively, whether you agree to it or not. Unfortunately, you'll find your beloved parasite doesn't affect the 3 of us, Saladin said calmly, a sneer on his face. I didn't say anything about the gutless turning the 3 of you, did I? Monsex giggled, and leaned forward and gun of the raised gun's barrel. Direct your attention between my legs. There was a pause. Oh, for heaven's sake! Monsex rolled his eyes. I meant the ray gun! Oh, yes, that. Alexis took off a terrible mental image. This is the project that the Grandmaster Fangirl and I have been working on for months! Monsex cackled, laying on his stomach and stroking the shining barrel of the barrel. This is my beloved Yaoi cannon. You'll find its effect somewhat similar to gutless parasites. It targets and eliminates the you-know-whats of anybody it's pointed at. Anybody? Saladin asked, eyes narrowing. Well, anybody. Monsex retorted. Well, any male body. It doesn't matter if you're immune to the gutless parasite, or herpes, or the Yambagi jungle rot. One shot for this little darling, and you'll be a more swissy than a cheerleading palm, more sexually charged than a bowl of venom mush, and more beautiful and womanly than Gat! A united gasp scouted for the trio. Woo! Not Gat! Let's just gasp. Yo monsters! Saladin roared. How could you ever get the power to build something like that? Faces snarled, mostly for the 3 nobodies to spread out and prepare for what could be an extremely dangerous battle. It makes no scientific sense! It's impossible! We'll see just how impossible it is. Monsex howled with villainous laughter and drew a remote control from his coat pocket, starting out the Yaoi cannon with a loud, whirring noise. Whatever happens, do not get hit with that cannon! But let's just see, its warning was unfortunately 2 seconds too late. Messex was electrical message just how fast the outer cannon was. It sounded not fit considered as an aiming speed, the precarious few seconds when time seemed to stop. Seconds that occurred precisely after the cannon took aim at him, and a colorful light filled the barrel. "Oh, son of a bitch!" Saladin yelled. "Saladin!" Lexus affected screamed. But Saladin could only watch as the light poured from the end of the barrel and the straight, speedy beam heading directly for him. There was only one thing to say at a time like this. "Oh, shit!"